For the better part of a century, the deal was simple. You grind through high school, you land a seat at Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or one of the other handful of schools at the top of the pyramid, and the world opens up. You get the network. You get the credential. You get the signal that tells every boardroom, every fund, and every legacy family that you are the real thing. In 2026, that deal is getting renegotiated. And the families doing the renegotiating are the ones who built the pyramid in the first place. Welcome to POTENSIA, where power needs no introduction. Alpha is a finance term. It means returns above the benchmark. When an investment stops generating alpha, you exit the position. That is exactly how Dynastic Wealth is now treating the Ivy League. For families operating at the ultra-high net worth level, the Ivy League was never really about education. It was about three things: signaling, sorting, and networking. The diploma told the world you had cleared a filter. The alumni network put you in rooms with other people who had cleared the same filter. The prestige opened doors that raw talent and money alone could not always unlock. Here's the problem. When you already have the network, the signaling is redundant. When your family office has been operating for 3 generations, you do not need Yale to introduce you to the right people. You are already in those rooms. Paying $350,000 in tuition plus 4 years of opportunity cost to get a credential that confirms what everyone already knows about your last name is, by any rational calculus, a terrible trade. The returns have also been declining at the institutional level. Global university rankings have stagnated, while the actual economy has been moving at a speed that 4-year academic cycles simply cannot match. A curriculum designed in 2021 and delivered in 2024 is already a generation behind the frontier in AI, biotech, decentralized finance, and energy systems. The kids sitting in those lecture halls are studying yesterday's world. Legacy admissions made this worse. The practice of reserving seats for the children of alumni and major donors, which Harvard, Yale, and Princeton all still operate under despite growing political pressure, has diluted the intellectual signal that made these institutions valuable in the first place. When the top of the class knows that a portion of their peers bought their way in through a last name or a building donation, the sorting function of the credential starts to feel like a joke. The 2026 landscape has a word for assets that consume capital without generating returns. It calls them liabilities. And for the first time in a long time, a segment of the ultra-wealthy is openly classifying a prestigious university education in exactly those terms. So what replaces it? Not nothing. The families walking away from the Ivy League are not sending their heirs to figure it out on their own. They are building something more deliberate, more concentrated, and significantly more effective. Call it the sovereign apprentice model. The structure looks like this. Instead of enrolling a 20-year-old in a 4-year generalist curriculum alongside 1,600 strangers, a dynastic family designs a bespoke education around 3 to 5 specific domains that are directly relevant to where the family's capital is deployed and where it intends to go. If the family has significant positions in AI infrastructure, the heir spends 18 months embedded in an AI lab under direct mentorship from an operator at the frontier, not a professor who studies operators from a distance. If the family runs a multi-generational real estate portfolio, the heir is sitting across the table from the attorneys, the brokers, the developers, and the capital allocators doing live deals before they are 22. The classroom is the deal room. The curriculum is the actual work. This model is not new. It is, in fact, very old. The apprenticeship was the dominant educational model for most of human history. What is new is that ultra-high net worth families are formalizing it, funding it at scale, and treating it as a deliberate strategic choice rather than a fallback for kids who did not get into the right schools. The results are producing a new category that analysts and family office advisors are starting to call technical sovereignty. The concept is simple. In a world where AI is automating cognitive labor and geopolitical instability is reshuffling economic hierarchies, the only durable form of human capital is the ability to actually build and defend something. Not to manage a portfolio from a distance. Not to sit on a board and read quarterly reports. To understand, at an operational level, how the machine works and how to fix it when it breaks. Generalist education, for years of economics, political science, history, and a few electives, does not produce technical sovereignty. 18 months embedded in a private equity deal team under a managing partner who runs a $100 billion fund does. The families making this pivot are not anti-intellectual. They are ruthlessly pragmatic. They are applying the same capital allocation discipline to human capital that they apply to every other asset class. And the analysis keeps pointing to the same conclusion. The Ivy League ROI, for families who already hold the social capital these institutions promise to provide, simply does not pencil out anymore. If you strip the Ivy League down to its core value proposition for the ultra-wealthy, it was never the professors or the curriculum. It was the network. For years of proximity to the most ambitious, most connected, and most resourced young people in the country, living in the same dorms, eating in the same dining halls, grinding through the same problem sets at 2 a.m. That proximity created relationships that lasted decades and moved billions of dollars. So when dynasties walk away from the campus, what happens to the network? It does not disappear. It relocates. The replacement infrastructure is a collection of invite-only nodes that operate outside of any formal institutional structure. Sovereign tech retreats where the entrance fee is a demonstrated track record, not a legacy admission. Specialized venture studios where a small cohort of next-generation operators builds real companies under real stakes. Private family-to-family knowledge exchanges where dynastic wealth shares operational intelligence across industries and geographies. Closed digital communities that look from the outside like nothing at all but function, for their members, as the most valuable professional network on Earth. The critical difference between these structures and a traditional university network is the selection criterion. The Ivy League network admitted people based on a combination of academic achievement, legacy status, and wealth. The new nodes admit based on one thing. Can you actually do something useful at a high level? The entrance filter has shifted from credentials and connections to functional execution. This is a more meritocratic model in practice, even though it is funded and operated by some of the least meritocratic families on the planet. The irony is intentional. Dynastic wealth understands that the next generation of its own network partners cannot be recruited from credential factories. They need to be found in the places where real work gets done. The peer group formed in a sovereign tech retreat where everyone in the room has shipped a product, closed a deal, or built something real is, by any measure, a more powerful network than the one formed in a lecture hall at Harvard. And it costs a fraction of the tuition, measured in money. The cost and access is significantly higher. But access has always been the true currency of elite networking. The Ivy League simply used to be the most efficient way to buy it. There is a dimension of this exodus that goes beyond pure ROI analysis. It is geopolitical, and it is accelerating. Ultra-high net worth families operate across multiple jurisdictions. They hold assets in different countries. They have family members living in different time zones. Their exposure to geopolitical risk is not abstract. It is a daily operational reality. Sending an heir to a university in a single country, particularly a country experiencing the levels of political and cultural volatility that the United States is experiencing in the mid-2020s, introduces a specific kind of concentration risk that dynastic wealth is designed to avoid. An institution located in Massachusetts, regulated by federal and state law, subject to changing political pressures, and embedded in a particular ideological environment, is not a neutral educational infrastructure. It is a jurisdiction-specific bet. The families pulling back from American Ivy League institutions are not making an ideological statement. They are making a risk management decision. Keeping the next generation's education closer to the family's operational base, or distributing it across multiple private knowledge structures in multiple geographies, reduces single point of failure exposure. It is geographic diversification applied to human capital development. This has given rise to what family office advisors are calling knowledge enclaves. Private, highly secure educational environments that can be physical or distributed, that operate independently of any single country's academic and regulatory system, and that are designed to insulate the learning environment from the ideological noise of institutional academia. The content of these enclaves is specific, functional, and deliberately apolitical in the sense that it is organized around wealth preservation, capital deployment, and operational excellence rather than the broader civic and cultural objectives of a traditional university. The families funding them are not trying to educate citizens. They are training stewards of multi-generational capital. The curriculum reflects that distinction exactly. The long-term implications of this exodus are structural and irreversible. As the highest tier of wealth exits the Ivy League, these institutions face a gradual but significant degradation of their core product. The value of the Harvard network has always been a function of the quality and power of the people in it. When the people with the most capital, the most operational access, and the most dynastic influence are no longer building their formative relationships inside Harvard Yard, the network depreciates. What the Ivy League becomes, over the next decade, is a finishing school for the upper middle class. An excellent credential for the children of doctors, lawyers, and senior executives who want to signal their achievement and enter the professional class. A genuine pathway for talented students from lower economic backgrounds who earn their seat on merit. But no longer the actual command center of generational power. The real command center has moved. It is distributed across private family offices, invite-only networks, sovereign tech retreats, and bespoke apprenticeship structures that have no admissions website and no alumni magazine. You will not find them by searching. You find them by already being in the rooms where they are discussed. The data emerging from family office surveys and ultra-high net worth advisory networks in 2026 is pointing clearly in this direction. The percentage of dynastic families actively designing alternative educational structures for their heirs has been growing every year since 2020. The conversation has shifted from whether to exit the traditional credentialing system to how to build the replacement infrastructure most effectively. This is not a fringe trend. It is not a reaction to a single political moment or a temporary disruption. It is a structural recalibration of how generational wealth reproduces itself. And it has implications that extend far beyond which schools the ultra-wealthy choose to attend. If the university was the ultimate gatekeeper of economic opportunity in the 20th century, the question the 21st century is forcing is, what happens when the people who built the gates decide they no longer need them? The answer is being written right now, in private, by the families who have been running this experiment long enough to see the results. This is POTENSIA, where power needs no introduction.